My name is Abhishek Sharda and I'm from Madhya Pradesh from the district Balaghat. And I was a student in the MLP 18th batch. I have done my 10th and 12th in science field. And then I have done BBA as my graduation. And then I have done PGDM in HR as my post graduation. My graduation as well as the post graduation, those two things are done in the domain of HR. But after doing HR, I was getting a good package. There was no doubt about it. But I wanted to, understand business as a whole. HR being a core aspect of the business, it's a part where you understand how to work within the organization. But marketing, being in digital marketing, you get to know that how you stay in one place and how do you rule the market outside? How do you work with the people outside and building the trust outside your organization where people are spending on you, on your product? It's very hard to earn. So digital marketing was very fascinating to me at that particular stage because I already knew a lot of the concepts about marketing, but I just wanted to get the core of marketing. So I found Kraftshala best choice to pursue that particular thing. So I just came here and the kind of intellect that I was able to gain from Kraftshala, it was splendid. It was like a significant experience for me. While I was doing my MBA, so in the first year of MBA, you would have seen that there are all these subjects that we go through, all the domains, be it marketing, be it HR, be it operations or finance. It's in the second year that we choose our field of interest and we try to pursue that. So in the first year of my MBA, I had a lot of friends who were talking about STOA and Kraftshala. So I was very fascinated about what are these institutions who are
Hmm.
claiming to provide such sort of good packages as well as such kind of knowledge about these particular fields which are very dynamic in nature in the market in the current scenario. So what exactly is it about? So I connected with a lot of guys who are from the previous batches via LinkedIn, and I got to know about Kraftshala. I compared both the institution, and then I decided to join Kraftshala. So the personal factor would be learning because I have never been able to, stick to one thing for a very a long time because I mean, exploring business for me is very much like a influencing factor in its own. I don't like to stick to one field. So even after doing HR, I wanted to go for a job, but then I decided not to because I understood that it won't be possible for me because I wanted to explore digital marketing at its core. So learning would be one factor that would be very personal to me. And when you talk about Kraftshala per se, I would say the alumni that I spoke to, as well as when I spoke to them, they told me that the background of the mentors is very rich. There are guys who are coming from Group M. There are guys who have worked for Hive Minds, who have worked for Publicis, who have worked for many other companies, who are like the flag bearers of this particular digital marketing space. So that is what really stood out for me because when you're taught by the best, if you're really receptive enough, you become the best. So that was the idea behind joining Kraftshala. Because any which ways, wherever you go, if you have that in you, you'll be able to build networks. Even though it's a very important part, you'll still be able to make network, and it's very easy right now to make networks in the digital space that you have. But to identify those set of people who can really guide you and who can really mentor you to be the best in that particular network is what I was looking for, and that is what I found at Kraftshala. Kraftshala is not just the place where freshers come in. There are a lot of guys who have got significant experience in their field. There are guys who are already working in the digital marketing space, but the kind of credibility they get after doing their field of study from Kraftshala is incredible. So the impression of those guys was like I want to be like those guys. I want to be at the place where they are. in their field of expertise. Because in digital marketing space, there are a lot of extensions to the field. You cannot really claim to, be everywhere.
Yeah.
But the kind of knowledge that Kraftshala provides, I mean, if I even master one domain out of all the domains that Kraftshala teaches me, uh, I would be at the best and at the helm of the organization wherever I work at. I was very committed to the process that Kraftshala put me into. We used to start our day at 10 o'clock or 10:30 a.m. and then we used to end it by 8 p.m. I mean, definitely we had breaks in between, but it was kind of hectic schedule. And I mean, if you look at the functional aspects of it, if you go through a particular concept of digital marketing that Kraftshala teaches you, it might look very simple to you, even though that is not. So, what happens is when you do a traditional kind of education, you are given the subjects, you're given topics that you need to study, you study all those things. But then when you come out in the real world, you don't find the significance as well as the relevance of those things. But in Kraftshala, when we were taught about any particular topic, we did find it very easy. We thought it's we'll very easily do that. But just after those 2 hours of session, we were given a task. It was an assignment that was given that could last for 2 hours, that could last for 1 hour, depending on the length of the assignment. So that is when we used to burst our heads, and there were times that we were not able to get it, even though when we understood the concepts. So there were tips and tricks of the corporate world that after doing the assignment, when we used to discuss it with the mentors, that is when we understood that okay, how is this actually done in the corporate? Because how the concept looks and how it is applied into the real dynamics are two very different things in digital marketing space per se, because it's still in an infant stage in the world. It's still growing. So there are a lot of things that will change, and you have to be very punctual and you have to be very committed in terms of learning. So that is what I got from Kraftshala. So that is why I didn't have to put any sort of extra added efforts. Those 10 hours were more than sufficient for me, and clearing the interviews is not really a tough part because you already have human skills trainer over here, and that is really the highlight of Kraftshala. That is something I need to mention because functional aspects you can still learn. You get into the company even though you don't have the assignments, you will go there, you will be guided by the managers and everything. But when I was having my one-on-one sessions with a human skills trainer, that is when I was forced to look upon things that I've done in my life. And that is where you really get the mirror of what your life has been. And that is when you start to think, how do you want it to be? And you understand your core capabilities, which are very relevant to the functional concepts that you're learning. Anyone can teach you how to build a resume. There are very few who can teach you how to present it.
Yeah.
There are very few who will tell you what is the content that you really need to put in. It's very easy to remember that okay, you participated there, you got this particular medal, you this is your achievement, just put it over there. But going through the entire process where you realize what exactly you've gone through, that what does that journey look like to achieve that particular achievement, that is very significant, that I sort of learned, and that has very much helped me to secure a job via Kraftshala. Out of all the information that I received, one thing that really stood out to me was if you get into an organization, if you're placed, and let's say after a year you leave that particular organization for a better opportunity, and you want to prepare yourself again for that particular new opportunity, Kraftshala sort of guides you. They give you those sessions, they help you in terms of claiming those new jobs. It is not like you're placed once, you're just out of the placement pool. Even though you're working with another organization, you might come 2 years after you're placed. Kraftshala will treat you as its own. So yeah, that was one thing that stood out for me. Problem that I've constantly faced is whenever I shift to a new thing, there's a change in routine. So it's very hard to find that connect with whatever you are doing right now. So that was really problematic for me. So in a way, I have been very spiritual since my graduation days. So it has helped me a lot in terms of connecting with my work, being, understanding and learning as much as I can. I do not really sleep for long hours. It's hardly 2 or 3 hours. That is my sleep quota. I'm always out there. I am attached with a lot of organizations. I have been acquainted with them. Apart from the organization that I'm working for as a employee, there are organizations where I'm working as a volunteer. So that is what helps me keep up my stride. And that is why I have not really faced any sort of emotional issues or something like that because my family has been very supportive to me, looking at the way I've shifted through careers. So my family has really supported me all the way. I mean, firstly, they didn't think that I would take up job, so they were surprised that I took up job. And then after that, I showed them what my offer letter looks like, and they were really happy that whatever we have paid, it has sort of returned. It's a great ROI, and people should not really think of ROI. At Kraftshala is what I will say because the functional aspects and the kind of expertise you'll generate from here, even the 50% of it, if you master it, you'll get more than what Kraftshala is promising. So that is what I feel, and that is what I have achieved, and my package is really good. So I would say it's 50-50. Kraftshala would guide you, but it's a partnership job. You'll have to put your 50%. That is 100% of your commitment. So that is when you receive good things. I mean, there are many actually. One of the most significant transformation that I have seen in myself is I am much more confident about the field that I am in. And when I go out there among the peoples who are from the same space, they see you with some sort of, credibility and respect. So that is what actually you get from the brand that Kraftshala has built in itself. And that is also because of the people who have passed out from the previous batches. If I happen to get a really good placement in this 18th batch, and if I join a company and I do really good work out there, they'll come back over here. They'll see them with the same respect that I earned from myself. So that is what I have received uh, because of the people who have been in the previous batches. And they have received that because of Kraftshala and the mentors out there. So yeah, it's a full circle. I would just like to extend my thanks to all the people out there in the Kraftshala team because they've really supported me. There was a time when I was really not well in my family. I had a few losses in my family and I had to sort of back off. So I thought that it would be very rigorous task to explain all those things to the people out there. But they've been very supportive to me. As soon as I told them, they were out there to support me. They asked me to leave 17th batch. It was hardly 7-8 days when I had a loss in my family. So they asked me to leave 17th batch. They asked me to join 18th batch, and it was very transparent. And they were out there asking me how I am and how I have been throughout the time when I was not really in the batch of 18. It was yet to start. So yeah, that is something that was really heartening for me because I was not in a space where I could think for myself at that point of time. So Kraftshala was there for me. Huge shout out to Bhavna because she helped me a lot in that particular moment. Also Archana Nair.